You said that it's not only a debate about the tramway, it goes beyond that. What people should understand across the province today with what happened.
Yeah, of course, it's not only a debate about public transit or about the tramway in Quebec City. It's also a debate about what kind of politicians do we want. Do we want politicians that govern with the polls, or we want politicians that govern with courage? I think a lot of Quebecers understand what type of politician François Legault is.
And the fact that there are more or less $400 million or $500 million that have been put on the table already on this project, is it an insult for the greater Quebec City region and Quebecers living here? We've been talking about tramway for years.
So much time lost, so much money lost. $400 million, that's a lot of money. It's the equivalent of building the Vidéotron Center. So the U-turn of the Coalition Avenir Québec just cost us $400 million at minimum. It's just like if the day of the inauguration of the Centre Vidéotron, we would have put it on fire. I mean, it's unbelievable. What is wrong with that government? Why are they unable to just deliver what they promised they would do? It's a problem across Quebec. But here in Quebec, it's particularly clear that government just is not able to hold his word.
Just how much of this is on the government and how much is up to the city at a certain point?
See, the Mayor Marchand did everything he could to convince the government of what should have been an evidence, of what should have been obvious. It's been 10 years. You imagine 10 years of experts and studies saying it's the good project. And now we're going to wait for another 6 months for another study to say again what the experts have been saying for 10 years. The Mayor Marchand did what he could, but there's a government that is uniquely driven by short-term decisions.
There was a press conference with former Mayor Labaume and the Liberals announcing the project of the tramway years ago, 14 years ago, or 13 years ago. So the tramway, the fact that we're here now, it's a failure of the Liberals as well, not only the CAQ.
No. Back in time, in 2018, there was an announcement, official announcement with Maître Labaume, with Mr. Couillard and André Fortin, at that time Minister of Transportation. And the cost of the tramway was at that time $3.6 billion, something like this. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the provincial government had put aside $1.8 billion at that time. So there was a clear identified project, a feasible project. But the fact that you lost 5 years, of course, it has a huge impact on the increasing of costs. And we saw the end result that the CAQ government never believed for a minute within that project of the tramway.
You say that the government's tossed it to hot potato?
I don't know if the CAQ is very, very happy with that new mandate provided to it by the government. I think that a lack of vision from François Legault is the end result of this fiasco, because again, we are now in their 6th year for the CAQ government. There's no a project in place. There's no vision at all. And I think that for the CAQ, it's very useful to send the trouble to the Caisse de dépôt et placement and say, okay, tell us if it's feasible or not, regardless of the responsibility of the CAQ government to ask questions for the last 5 years and to provide Quebec citizens with a vision and a project, which is not the case this morning.
We don't know what was the rationale, what they were thinking before, what was the strategy. That's for them to answer your question. However, we can see what is the sequence at the very beginning. And we can come back to the last general election. You know, the big project is the third link. And then we learn after the election that there will be no third link. And then there is Jean Talon. And during the election, the whole campaign is, yes, we're going to go for a tramway. And then after the election, the comeback, big comeback for the third link, and then the consultation, and then no consultation. And then today or yesterday, we learned that the project is withdrawn from the city and given to the CDPQ. So the sequence is very hard to understand. So that's for the government to answer that question, but really hard to read, and that's not the kind of leadership we are expecting in the Capitale Nationale.
Tell on the leadership of the CAQ.
Well, I mean, we need to be talking about a project that is key for the future of the whole region. We need to be talking about the future of collective transportation, transit. And we're not talking about this. Confusion is the key word since, well, for a long time it has been the key word, and we are not seeing the kind of leadership that we need in that kind of very key issue for the whole region.
If I may add one thing is, you're asking, was it premeditated? Obviously it was. You know, for more than a week, the mayor asked for a meeting to explain his plan B. What happens within, what, an hour? There's no plan B. There's a plan C, CDPQ, infra, and that's the plan that the government has. So the government didn't collaborate with the city, didn't collaborate with Mayor Marchand and try to understand where he was headed. They just basically said, here come, sit down, and we'll tell you what we want to do. And that's what happened. I mean, obviously that's what happened. We weren't there, but the conclusion speaks for itself.